so I'm using the...
Oh no.
Okay, so I'm using the... I can see you're about to laugh. Hold on. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, which is all about beauty. Now today's video is a glam makeup tutorial for mature skin. Now I've brought back in your favorite model, my mum. She's becoming a bit of a pro at this now. So in this video, I've also included some tips and tricks, just everything you need to know about creating a really nice glam look, which by the way is perfect for the festive season right now. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and also that little bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Don't forget, you can head on over to Instagram. You can also follow me there for some daily beauty news, some PR unboxing, reviews, and just generally what I get up to when I'm not filming for YouTube. So let's jump straight into the video. So first thing I'm using is my moisturiser. I'm using the Wind Medina Dew moisturiser, and this is a super hydrating moisturiser. I can see you laughing. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Flash Nap Eye Gel Cream. Just going to apply this along the eye contour. I don't want to apply it too close to the centre, the middle bit of the eye, because what happens is it can then end up going towards the tear duct and then blocking that area. Now it comes with a little kind of, it's a really cute little cooling metal roller ball thing, and you can basically just roll this over. This really helps to kind of like revive the eyes, and personally I find it super like soothing as well before you apply anything else, because it just kind of like helps to wake up the eye area. Does this feel good, Mum?
That feels wonderful, yes.
Does it?
Very nice. It comes with it, does it?
Yeah, it actually comes with the eye cream.
Okay, that's good.
I'm using my Hourglass Vanish concealer, even though we're going for like, I'm using like a kind of medium to full coverage concealer. I am going to be using a very light foundation. I'm just using my beauty blender to buff this in. So I'm just pressing it in. Now, like I said, I'm using a much lighter foundation because I really want to balance it out. I really don't want a super heavy base. And we're going for a really nice festive glam look. So I want to make sure that the skin isn't overly heavy. Like, by having a glam look does not mean that you have to go really heavy on the foundation and base. So you can still keep a really natural base and really working that glam into the eyes and the lips. Now you can really kind of stretch the eyelid up if you want to get into any creases, because if you don't stretch it up and you just apply it like this, then basically when you do stretch, you'll see all of the lines where the product hasn't actually kind of gone through and sat in the middle. And equally, that's not a good look either. If you can, like, a lot of people complain about products sitting in the lines, but it also doesn't look good when you stretch and there is just your skin, and there's a big difference in colour in comparison to where the product is and where your natural skin is. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. I can never get the name right, like in the right order, but you know what I mean. And also don't forget that the products are in my description list. And I'm just pressing it in using my Real Techniques setting powder. Very, very light amount, and the shade I'm using is medium. Now I'm using my Nude Sticks Magnetic Matte Eye Colour in Terra, and the reason I'm doing the eyes first before the base is because we're working with a little bit of glitter later on, so I don't want that to end up falling onto the perfectly done base and then ruining that. So that's why I'm going to do the eyes first, and then I'm going to move on to the base. But if you're doing quite a light eye look and you're not worried, you're not working with too many dark eyeshadows, you can do your base first and then move over to your eyes. It's really down to personal preference. Now I want just a little bit of colour over the lid, so what I'm going to do is just kind of like draw this on, and you can see it's going to leave a really nice kind of almost slightly peachy shade, but it's not overly bright. I'm just stretching the lid. I had a couple of comments from people saying that they thought that you can't use cream eyeshadows on kind of mature skin because they felt like it may, or they were told like it may kind of sit in the lines and it's not a good look for mature skin. It depends on the type of texture that you use. I'm using a pencil, and this is quite a dry texture, so it's creamy, but it's not overly creamy. So it's really going to kind of sit well on the skin and dry up, so you don't have to worry about anything it being too fluid. and sitting in any lines. Now what I'm doing is just kind of buffing the edges just a little bit so it doesn't look like there's an obvious line. I'm just actually kind of pushing that into the eyelid. So you can see I'm just dragging the colour, and all that's doing is getting rid of the harsh line so it doesn't look so obvious, and we don't actually need to touch that middle section there. We can leave that as it is. Now it's quite a light colour, so you may be saying like, why are we even applying this? Personally, I think it's going to give a really, just a bit of depth to the eye because it's not overly dark, and also it just keeps it nice and even, and if we do want to kind of stick any glitter on top, it's going to kind of fix in really well because there is a slight tackiness to this pencil. Now the brush I'm using is the Huda Beauty eyeshadow brush. It's a really just basic brush, but you can use any kind of brush. Now I'm using the Nude Sticks pencil again, but in the shade Hot Stone, and this is where I'm actually going to stretch the eyelid and I'm going to create a little bit of depth along the lash line. So I'm doing it super close to the lash line, but I'm only actually doing it just on the last half of the lash line. Now I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury eye smudger brush and I'm dragging it inwards towards the lash line and just kind of side to side if you want, whatever makes it easier for you, but as long as you're just kind of almost buffing that colour in. Now I'm gonna just add a little bit here, and I've made it a little bit thicker, and I'm just kind of going up into the socket, but I'm actually going a little bit higher because what I want to do is create the illusion of a higher kind of socket, more depth there, higher socket area. All I'm doing is doing the same thing with the same brush, just kind of dragging it in. It's a really easy pencil to blend. That's why I love these pencils. And you can see that's giving the eye some depth. We're now going to do the same thing on this side. So all I'm doing is just doing it along half of the lash line and then kind of like buffing it in. So now I'm using the Bobbi Brown Luxe eyeshadow, the Rich Sparkle one in Moonstone, and I've just got a bit on my finger, and I'm going to just press this all over the lid, just up until the socket. I'm just going to get my brush, there's nothing on this, and I'm just making sure it kind of like stays within that area, so just dusting off anywhere else that I've seen it. Now I'm applying the Nude Sticks Lengthening Mascara, so I'm just kind of dragging this through the lashes. I'm not going so close to the root because honestly I'm going to be applying lashes, so I'm not too concerned about the type of mascara that I use. Now I know there's probably a lot of you out there who watch my videos and maybe you try some of the looks and you may feel that, okay, while you're actually creating the look, you may feel that, oh, it's just not going right, I'm not getting the same finish. But you have to be patient, and it is really down to having a little bit of faith in what you're doing. I mean, you've really got to trust the process because halfway through, trust me, nothing looks great. I mean, look at this, we've already got glitter all the way down here. And personally, I think it could look a lot better, but I know because of my years of experience that you've got to trust the process, and by the time you've got base on, you've got your lashes on and everything's finished, it's gonna look good. So just have a little bit more faith in yourself. So now what I'm doing is applying some clusters, and I'm just gonna kind of press it into the lash line. So I'm really stretching the lid because I wanna really get into the lash line there. You know, you've gotta stick it really close to the lash. So I'm just gonna carry on this side. So now what I'm doing is I'm just using a black eyeshadow. You can use any black eyeshadow. I'm using the Tarte Fashionista black eyeshadow, and I'm just using my Sigma E06 brush and just pressing it into the lashes just so that, because they're clusters, we want to make sure that there's no kind of gaps there. So we want to make sure it's all kind of filled up nicely. Okay, I'm going to show you this quick trick. Now I'm going to get a little bit of this mascara on the tips of my fingers here. Now, because I don't want to brush mascara through these false lashes because it's going to ruin the whole look of the lash, but at the same time we want the real lash to stick to the fake lash. Now what we're going to do, we're going to almost do this kind of like rolling effect. So I'm just going to place my thumb at the bottom, finger at the top, and roll up. So the finger at the top stays put and the lower thumb, it rolls up. And what that does is that actually helps your real lashes to stick to the false lashes, and you don't have to actually put mascara through them. So it doesn't ruin the look of the false lash.
I would have never thought of doing the eyes before the face.
So did you see how we actually dropped so much makeup? And another quick thing, because I've had a lot of people ask this, is about the eyeliner coming down on the inner corner there. We actually had some because of the product that we applied. Now, I've cleaned it all up, so now we're going to do a fresh base, and you're not going to have that problem either because we've applied a very kind of like pigmented black, but we've made sure that there's no excess on there, so it's a very, very small amount. If you keep packing on that black powder or brown powder, whatever you're using, you've basically layered it up so much that it's got to go somewhere, and it ends up kind of like falling down. So you want to keep the whole area pretty dry with not too much of the product, just enough to do what you need to do, but you don't need to keep adding it. Now I'm going to apply the concealer that we used initially. So I'm just going to apply a small amount here and here because we want that nice lifted effect, but we do want some coverage there as well. Now I'm using my beauty blender and I'm just kind of buffing this in. I'm keeping the product in the same place. I don't want to spread it out too much. I just want to kind of like get that coverage there. And this concealer is amazing for coverage. It gives you a really nice kind of flawless under eye look. Now I'm using my concealer first because we're going to go in with a much lighter foundation, as in the texture. So I don't want a heavy foundation, and I really want a foundation that's almost like, so we're using a skin tint basically, and that skin tint is going to kind of like give a really natural finish to the skin, and it will kind of give a veil of colour over this brightness that we've created on the under eye area, because we don't want it to look too heavy or cakey. Now you can take the product into other areas if you want. I'm not going to actually apply more product. I'm just taking over whatever product is already on the sponge and just taking it around the nostrils and then maybe a little bit on the corners of the mouth. So I'm applying my skin tint. I'm using the Fenty Ease Drop Skin Tint and in number 12. And I'm just using my beauty blender and I'm buffing it into the skin. As you can see, I'm going over the area where we applied that concealer. The concealer left quite a bright under eye, so we just want to kind of almost like bring it back down to a closer color to the skin and let that brightness kind of come through the foundation or the skin tint that we're using. So that's another reason that I like using concealer before foundation, because it gives us the coverage. It kind of, the foundation almost acts like a veil over it, so the brightness still comes through. So as you can see, we've still got that brightness coming through, and we've got the foundation on top, which kind of like ties everything together. If I applied my concealer on top of the foundation, I feel like it's quite disconnected because we don't get that nice blended finish to it. Whereas this way, our foundation or our skin tint is used as a veil of colour to tie everything in together. It's actually quite shocking, for me anyway, how many people say that they find it very strange to apply the concealer underneath foundation, because I feel like the way that everyone has been told by, you know, just through marketing of brands and certain makeup artists, that they just believe that there's this set way of applying makeup and that that's the only way. Like, there isn't really a kind of set way that you have to stick to. You go by what works for you and what your preference is. I'm actually very surprised. I've had numerous people comment saying, why have you applied foundation on top? Isn't concealer supposed to go on top? You know, and this is just my technique. It works for me and it works for my clients and they love it, and hopefully you guys can see as well how everything looks a lot more blended and seamless. Now I'm using the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate, the darker shade, and this is actually palette number 2, just to kind of sculpt the face, and I'm applying it just into the cheekbone area. So just I'm actually applying it right kind of on my mum's cheekbone, because if I apply it below, she's already got a little bit of darkness there and hollowness there, so I don't want to kind of make that look even more hollow, so I'm just applying it slightly above there to just give some definition without making her cheekbones look super kind of popping, if that makes sense. Just taking this along the perimeter of the face to warm up her face and give it some shape.
So how low should you take the foundation down to your neckline?
Well, you should kind of go beneath your jawline, so you should take it into your jawline, so like, well, underneath your jawline, so it should go down to your jawline and then you just kind of smooth it underneath. You don't need to go too far down because really you shouldn't have to if you've got the right shade, but you should kind of make sure it's blended nicely in, because just beneath your jawline, so just going into your neck, is fine. Now I'm going to use the Nudies Bloom Stick from Nude Sticks in Rusty Rouge, and I'm just going to apply, what is my mum's laughing? I'm just going to apply a little bit here. And I'm just going to buff this in using the brush that comes with it. What are you laughing at, Mum?
The name.
Oh.
Sorry.
These sticks are really good. I love how they just melt into the skin.
Are they new?
No, Nude Sticks has been around for a while. So it's not a new brand, but fairly new, I guess, in comparison to other brands. Okay, so this is where I'm going to help you with these creases a little bit, because look, we've got creasing on the forehead, and if I stretch, you can see that the foundation has settled into those creases, right? So that's fine, it's not a problem, because I'm going to show you how you can get rid of them, but I actually think it's a good thing if you let it set. If you let the creases set into the lines first before you go in with your powder. The reason being, if you just go straight in with your powder, you haven't really given it a chance. And personally, I like to kind of absorb all that excess product, because then that product's gone. We've absorbed it with the sponge, and then the product isn't going to be there anymore. So you don't have as much product to kind of sit in those lines. Basically, the product that is currently sitting in those lines is excess product that we don't need there. So the skin has kind of like done our job for us, showed us that there's a little bit of excess product, we need to get rid of it. Let's soak it up with the sponge, and then we can go in and set it. So I'm going to go in, I'm using the back of my sponge, and I'm just going to basically kind of collect all this excess product. And I'm using the back of the sponge because there wasn't really much product on there of anything, so it's absorbing that product. And we're really kind of making sure, I'm kind of buffing, but I'm slightly kind of almost flicking to make sure that we really pick that product up. I'm going to do the same thing with other areas where I know that it could potentially sit in. Squeezing the sponge so that we can really pick up whatever's left in the lines. I'm going straight in with my powder because I don't want any more extra product. Hopefully it wouldn't anyway, because we've picked most of it up. Now I'm going to go in with my powder, stretching the skin. I'm just setting it with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter powder, and I've stretched the skin. I've made sure that I've really got that powder in. I haven't applied too much of the powder. I want to make sure that it's not overly powdered down. And you can see we already picked up that product, but there isn't any more build up there. So now we're going to go in with this powder, and we're just going to press it. Also in this area here. So we're really making sure we're getting really close to that lower lash line, because those are the kind of areas that you would end up seeing product settling into lines. So making sure we're going around the obvious areas and any other areas that you want to keep matte. But honestly, it's not too much product. It's a very, very minimal amount of product. Now I'm going in with my Bobbi Brown brow powder and my Zoeva 322 brush. And I'm keeping my brush upright, so I'm using the very tip of the brush. So I don't want to use this like this. I want to make sure I hold it upright. And all I'm doing is just brushing through some of the powder to shape the brows, but also just kind of like give it slightly more definition.
So is this the powder that you're using on the eyebrows?
Is this a powder that I'm using?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a Bobbi Brown brow powder. It's super easy to use. Honestly, it just defines your brows really quickly and easily, because all we're doing is just filling in any kind of sparse areas and just shaping the brows, but also it's just really easy to use. It doesn't give you a harsh finish, it just kind of softens the brow a little.
So is this black or is it brown?
It's like a dark brown, because you haven't got much hair there, so we need to make sure we use a dark enough colour so that it defines it. And open and look up for me. So I'm going to go back in with the Terra shade from Nude Sticks, and I'm just going to kind of put this on the lower lash line here just a little bit, because I just want to have some kind of colour there, but very light. Just going to go back in with my Charlotte Tilbury Eye Smudger brush. Now I'm just applying some nude pencil to the waterline to really open up my mum's eyes. We're going to add a small amount of mascara to the lower lashes, look up for me, and I'm just not really taking it through the whole lash, I'm just touching the ends of the lash. Just want a bit of kind of mascara there, but I don't want it to look spidery. Okay, so I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Walk of Shame, and I'm just going to start shaping the lips. I'm starting from the top center. I'm going to do it very lightly because I don't want a super strong lip line. So I'm using the lipstick The Queen from Charlotte Tilbury. It's a really nice raspberry pink, but I'm actually going to give the whole lip area some depth after with another colour. Just applying it straight from the stick because I want to blend it in after. Now all I'm doing is making sure I get the colour all the way to the edges. Now I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury liquid lipstick in Screen Siren, and I've just got a little bit on my lip brush, and I'm just going to take it around the edges and then blend it inwards so that it just darkens the lip line a little bit, almost like a slight ombre finish. Now I'm going to blot the lips, and I'm just going to take the paper over, or the tissue over, and just kind of spread it out over, press it and just take it off. This will take off all the excess. Lastly, I'm going to use a little bit of highlight. I'm using the Stiller Heavens Hue highlighter in Kitten, and I'm just going to apply this to the peaks of the cheekbone with my Zoeva 134 brush. Now I'm going to finish off with the Wind Oasis Veil. It's such an amazing face spray. It honestly just helps to hydrate the skin, so this will help to kind of give the skin more of a kind of dewy finish. It's not so much about setting makeup, it's more so about giving your skin that extra burst of hydration. Also, I don't want the face to really look too dry and matte, so this will kind of like make it all look a little bit more kind of lived in. Okay, so this is our festive glam finished look. Personally, I think it's a look that you can still wear no matter what the season, so you don't have to only wear it for the season that we're in right now. And I personally think that this look looks amazing on my mum. I absolutely love the bold lip. This colour on my mum really brings out that healthy glow and brings out the really nice colour of her skin. Now, I know that my mum is probably thinking, oh my god, I haven't worn this much makeup in years, because you used to wear this much makeup though, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I used to wear this kind of lipstick all the time.
And how does it look? I think, honestly, I think it just brightens up your skin straight away.
Oh, it's beautiful, really nice. I love it. And
Oh,
I love the
that's nice.
spray.
The spray is so good.
Yes.
So basically the spray is great if, for example, you've created a matte look or you've used powder, because ultimately powder is what is going to actually set your makeup and get rid of those lines that you have everywhere. But at the same time, not everyone wants a matte look. So you want to get that kind of that powder to set everything, but you don't want everything to look matte. Therefore, you can use this spray, and this specific spray is amazing for this because you can use it no matter how many times throughout the day, and it doesn't irritate your skin. It's good for your skin, it hydrates your skin, smells amazing as well, and it will basically stop your skin from looking so matte and give it that really nice kind of dewy look without looking too shiny or overly oily. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I loved creating this look, and I think this look looked stunning on my mum. That bold lip is amazing, and I really do hope you guys try it at home yourself as well. Don't forget that every product that I use is always listed in the description box below, so all you need to do is head over down to it and click on the link, and it will take you to either the exact product, but if I couldn't find the exact product, I found the best alternative that I would recommend. Now, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.